Yo, what is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 47 of our Tracksuit to the Top series here with Lewis FC in the Sky Bet Championship. As always, if you missed the last episode, go check it out, because that was last year's end of season review. Something new that I'm going to try in this series, see how you guys like it, and perhaps continue it for the next few years. But anyway, today we have West Brom in our first game, but with this being a new season, we obviously made some transfers and such, and stuff that we need to cover before we can get into what is a very exciting prospect, as we will be taking on West Brom, a team who have been in the Championship for the last few years, having not been able to bounce back, and they've got some pretty strong players in their squad, so it's not going to be easy. But anyway, let's talk about the transfers first and foremost, and I'll start off by saying, actually, I am trying to loan Matthew Lewis again. He's turned me down for the last 4 or 5 years since we sold him. 4 years, and he's gone to other teams. But maybe this is the year, just maybe. So we have, unfortunately, tried to get him in, but I doubt he's going to come, but we're trying. So on the outs, just to start things off, a few players who you might recognise, players like Isaac Hayden, just players who they've not really stepped up as we've moved up through the divisions. He's not a Championship quality player. His contract was running out, there was no point in renewing it. And then there's also players like Jordan Jones, who I believe up until this year may have been the only player I ever paid a transfer fee for. As you can see, we paid £44,000 and he's certainly not been worth it. He's probably one of the worst buys I've made on this save, if I'm honest. Other than that, a few smaller names, players you might recognise. I guess Hyam played a few games for us, particularly in our earlier years. You may notice that I am running a new face pack. I decided to upgrade my face pack, which is the Sort It Out SI cut out face pack, to the version 7, whereas before I was on like a 2-year-old version. So there are a few new faces, and our players look nicer, and they don't look like they're 12 anymore for some of the players who have aged substantially since I kind of installed that face pack. But anyway, looking on the ins, a few regens we brought in. Honestly, nothing really to talk about there. Actually, no, that's a lie. Victor Garcia, actually, the right back, Honduras, got a work permit because of the amount of games he's played for the national team in Honduras. He joins us on a free. He's a very good right back. I love his speed, I love his physical stats. His determination lets him down a little bit, and technically he's not the best defender, particularly his positioning, teamwork and vision, and a few other bits I'd like to see a little bit better for a fullback. They're not great, but at the same time, he's certainly not a bad player, and his pace is going to help him a lot, particularly his acceleration. So he's a good little player. He will be starting at right back for the most part, I believe, this year. Other than that, all the rest of the players, I think, came this summer, yeah. So let's get into them. The first one was Joe Ledley, a player who I signed on loan, decided wasn't what I was looking for, and sent him back to Crystal Palace immediately. Just one of those things where you loan in a player and you kind of quickly realise, actually, he's not really adding anything to my team, and he was on fairly large wages, so I decided to send him back. But all the rest of the signings are still with the squad. The first one here, Tyus Browning, centre-back and right-back, capable of playing either of those positions. Comes on loan from Charlton for the year. Charlton in the Premier League, he was signed for £1.2 million for, but he never made an appearance for them, so he joins us on loan this year. Next player is Luke McGee, a goalkeeper. Obviously last year we kind of felt the effect, shall we say, of a lack of goalkeepers, so I've actually signed 2 this year. McGee's only going to be a backup, but he is a very good backup. The 23-year-old looks like a pretty good little player for us. The next player is the biggest transfer probably in this save ever, in terms of how good he is, in terms of how much we paid, and it is this guy, Kelechi Iheanacho. I might just call you Nacho. But you can see here he's got 7 appearances and 3 goals for Nigeria. We've signed him for £1.9 million. His contract was expiring at Man City, so we had to pay the compensation. But as you can see, he's joining us. Last year he was on loan at New York City FC and MLS. He did a pretty good job for them there. And this year he's going to be tearing things up, hopefully, for us in the Championship. Looks like an absolutely fantastic striker. Really going to add some quality to our side. And Armstrong, who we had on loan last year, didn't want to come back on loan to us this year, so I did need to get another striker in. And this guy has incredible quality. He's more than capable of scoring maybe 20, 30 goals in this Championship season. So I'm very excited to have him in. Obviously, he's on the largest wages at the club, but you have to pay big fees for players who are going to make a big impact. Anyway, next 2 players, 2 free transfers from Liverpool. The first one here is Hedegaard. He joins us, Danish under-21 international. Good little centre mid, good going forward, just good backup on low wages as well. I must admit, at the end of this year, because of the amount of players I let go out on free transfers and also the amount of players who we had on loan last year, our squad looked very bare. And for that reason, I really had to kind of, try and add some players to the squad, some good backup players. And another player who fits that bill is Mikkelsen. This guy, another Danish under-21 international from Liverpool. This guy's a defender. He can play right back, centre back, and left back. Just good coverage. He isn't incredible, but for what he does and what he is, he's a very good player, and he was a big improvement on kind of the backups we had last year, I guess, in the defensive department. Anyway, the next player is a familiar face from our defensive department last year. It's Joe Dudgeon, who we've signed for £210,000. He's joined us from Crystal Palace. He's just a good player. We're not paying a massive amount of money for him. He's a very good left back. Probably will start a lot of games for us, and he has pretty low wages considering that. But just a really good player to get in. The next few players are really big players, and these are the players who I'm hoping are going to make a big impact this year. The first one here is Alexandre Kouakou. He is an Ivory Coast international. Got a work permit because of the amount of games he's played for the Ivory Coast. He's their first choice goalkeeper, and he's a fantastic little player. I can't believe he's been kind of released by his club. He was released by JCA, who are an Ivory Coast Premier League team, so perhaps it shouldn't surprise me so much because he probably just wanted to go to a bigger club. But no one picked him up, and I decided to go in for him. I found him via the Ivory Coast national team, which I think I have been checking infrequently because of obviously the previous success I've had doing that. And he looks like a very good keeper. He's going to start for us, as you can see, a leading championship player. And that's very pleasing to be able to say, because the goalkeeper position, we've had Mullen for a few years, but his performances in the last few years have started to tail off. Anyway, the next name is one that should be all too familiar with a lot of you guys who play FM a lot. It is Humam Tariq, the Iraqi 23-year-old. You can see here, really very, very good centre mid. Currently training him to play centre mid to fit our system. But just a really good playmaker. 23 years old, good leadership, which I like, but 18 vision combined with 15 passing is just ridiculous. He's going to be incredible. You can see here we signed him on a free transfer after he was released by AC Milan, having made 2 appearances for the club in 4 years. So he hasn't developed because he hasn't been given a real opportunity at AC Milan, who were kind of, I guess, responsible for his upbringing. That sounds very kind of serious, but they've kind of let him down a little bit, so I'm hoping he's going to come here and perform for us. You can see he'll be a leading player for most championship sides. He has very good potential. He's nowhere near his potential. He's a very good wonder kid in FM. At the start of says he doesn't get a work permit, but because of the amount of games he's played for Iraq, he was granted one for his transfer for the club, and he's a very good player. Anyway, the next player we got in is Casper Denor. I hope I'm saying that right. It might be Noré. But he is a Belgium youngster. He plays on the right wing. He's only 22 years old. He has a beautiful ginger afro thing. It's not really an afro, is it? I'm just making stuff up here. But he's a good little player. He joined us from Standard, where he was never really given a chance. And I'm kind of surprised at that, because he does not look like a bad right midfielder. Over the summer, the board granted me the ability to scout players in Europe, and this was one of the players I decided to check out when I was given that opportunity. But yeah, good little free transfer. He's not on massive wages either, so I'm pretty happy to get him in. The next player we have is Leon Mori. Nothing too spectacular about this guy, just a good little free transfer who might be of use. We had a lack of a backup kind of ball-winning midfielder, so I'm hoping this guy might be able to become that backup for a very low fee, but as you can see, he's on peanuts really, just a bit of strength to the squad. And the next 2 players, 2 more loanees. The first one here, Will Keane, a player who I want to say I had on my Peterborough save in the Championship, and he did a good job for me in the Championship there. He joined us. He will be our 4th choice striker, but last year we had 3 really good strikers, and they all got injured, or 3 of them got injured, and we were left with 1 striker. So this year I wanted to make sure we had 4 very strong strikers and 1 backup for if that ever happened. Will Keane's going to be one of those backups, but he comes on loan from Leeds, only on £5,000 a week, so a very good player. And the last player is Johnny Fox, who joins us on loan from Charlton. Very good centre-back. Lacks a bit of pace. He may get a game or 2. I'm quite blessed because if I just show you now, looking at the squad, on the bench we're going to have Tyus Browning, who's a quite pacey centre-back from Charlton, and then on the other side we've got Johnny Fox, who's more of a stopper, good defending and good aerial ability, and that kind of matches our current kind of centre-back setup, where we have Sweeney, who's not incredibly fast but is very good in the air and kind of mentally, and then we have Borthwick Jackson, who's a bit more of an athlete. So those kind of players fit a similar mould. But anyway, those are the transfers that we have made. What you can see on screen here is what I consider to be our best team when fully fit. There are a few injuries to tell you guys about going into the start of the season. The first one, Judgen's out for 1 to 3 days with a bruised thigh. Not ideal, but we have got backups to cover for that. And Jerome Sinclair, obviously our star man last year, is out with strained knee ligaments for 2 to 3 weeks. He's pretty much missed the entire of the pre-season, which is not good. As a result, some of his physicals have dropped off because of his injury. But I'm hoping when he comes back, he's going to be tearing up this league. And obviously, Iheanacho, who we have alongside him, is just an incredible player. And I'm hoping that these two might be able to strike a really good partnership. So this is our team. You may notice I've actually numbered my squad for the most part this year. I know it's a miracle. Look, they all have the normal numbers from 1 to 10. Well, I was about to say 1 to 10. Yeah, 1 to 10. Where's 11? I'm really confused. There's 11, the left mid. Jack, open your eyes. But people always moan about me not doing my numbers properly. So there's my numbers done properly for you moaners. I hope you're happy now. But anyway, obviously we have got this game against West Brom. The squad, it hasn't had a massive overhaul. If I just show you kind of the strongest 11, then obviously Iheanacho is a big addition to the kind of the strike force. So he'll play a lot of football. But besides that, our midfield is half the same, I guess. You know, you've got Aarons, Thompson, then Tariq and Denor obviously coming in on the right hand side, are two new players who I'm hoping are going to hit the ground running. And then at the back, we go with our same centre back partnership of Borthwick, Jackson, and Sweeney. Judgen, who was a big player for us last year at left back, performed really well, you know, a 7.06 average rating. And then obviously at right back, we have now Garcia, who's the new addition. And then in goal we have Kouakou, the Ivory Coast goalkeeper. So really there hasn't been a massive change. Obviously the difference between League One and Championship is quite vast, and so I have had to take that into consideration. But really there's only 5 new players in the starting 11, and besides that the bench has a few new names, but for the most part is pretty much what you'd expect it to be. Anyway, for today's game, I'm not going to be playing Tariq just because I want to stick with our kind of last year's midfield partnership of Ojo and Thompson, see how they get on. Ojo improved a lot last year. I didn't really talk about this too much, but the Nigerian under-20 international did some really good work for us. You can see here he's got a new face with our new face pack. He's ditched his old haircut. He looks quite swagged out. I don't know why his eyes are closed. Answers on a postcard, but very good centre mid, just such a well-rounded player. Developed a lot last year as well with exposure to first team football. He didn't play great last year in terms of the goals and assists contribution he made, but he did get an average rating of 7.21, which really kind of influences and highlights just how kind of key in our first team he was. But anyway, let's get into today's game. Obviously we have some new players to kind of try and perhaps prove a point, force them way into first team contention. So we will see how we get on. Obviously keen to see how Iheanacho gets on. I might just nickname him Nacho, I've got to be completely honest, because it's a bit of a mouthful, but he's an incredible player at this level. He's a Premier League quality striker. Delighted to get him in on a 3-year deal, and he also got a work permit, which obviously I had to get on appeal, which was very nice. But anyway, let's see how we get on here. First game of the year. We are taking on the mighty West Brom. Aarons and Denor, either side of our midfield. You know, it's a familiar team in some respects, but then it has some really good changes. And it's that Wayne Rooney up front. They have Wayne Rooney up front. Okay, well, he's taken a bit of a step down, it turns out. They've actually got Tom Cleverley and Darren Fletcher. Is it just me, or is this West Brom side just become kind of Manchester United rejects? That's the feeling I'm getting. But anyway, let's get into this game. I'm going to give my players an encouraging team talk, see how they are liking it. They seem to be loving it. And yeah, let's see how we get on today. So, first game in the Championship. It's not going to be easy, this transition to this division, but I'm hoping we can get things off well. And Borthwick Jackson, if you get yellow carded, okay. I was about to say, if you got yellow carded 20 seconds into the season, that would not be great. Ojo's taken a knock. Hopefully that's not a thing serious. He is back on the pitch, so looks like it hasn't been. But Iheanacho, Samuel, Denor, get it in the box if you can. Apparently the clear-cut chance has been and gone there. Good to see Samuel staying in the side. I didn't really talk about him during the pre-match stuff, but obviously top goal scorer the last 2 years. We're sticking with him. There was Sunderland sniffing around, but they decided not to put in a bid because I valued him at £10 million. But yeah, still in the side. Hopefully he'll be good for us this year. Obviously, with the addition of Iheanacho and obviously Jerome Sinclair, they're probably my first 2 starters. when they're both fit, but obviously they're not fit at the moment. And Keown was offside there. That was a really good opportunity. Looking at it, it looks like we're having the better of the play. We're creating a little bit more, but obviously 0-0. Can't read into it too much just yet. I'm looking for Iheanacho to really provide us with some magic, if possible. Just because he is the club's record transfer at £1.9 million, which is an absolute bargain, may I add. And that £1.9 million fee was part of the compensation package. And that might explain why Wayne Rooney is playing for West Brom with that miss there, because that was awful. But yeah, so I'm pretty happy with the squad we've got. I didn't really talk about the season preview, but we're actually one of the favourites to get promoted. I believe the odds on us getting promoted are 6-1, and the board have actually set my expectation to qualify for the playoffs, which is a really high expectation for a team first coming up. But I guess that's just a sign of, the quality in our side and how we are kind of judged by not only the board but the media as well. It's pretty crazy, to be honest, to be... I think we're 5th or 6th favourite to get promotion, which, I mean, it's a good sign because it means that there's a lot of quality in our side. Because generally speaking, even if you have a very strong team and get promoted, you're still predicted to do pretty badly in the league. That's just a general trend I've noticed with FM. Maybe that's just me. So for us to be expected to do really well, it's a good sign. But obviously we've got to kind of match the performances and the level of team performances that are expected from us. We have some really good quality, though, everywhere in the park. I feel like this year we've really strengthened up at the back with the loanee signings we've made in. Obviously the wages have gone up a lot this year. They've gone up to £130,000 a week. I did touch on it earlier, financial fair play. I think I did, at least. Rooney's offside. Stop celebrating, Wayne. We are set to potentially fail financial fair play, but that takes into account our transfers, and the forecasting in FM is a bit funny on the finances. But we've invested a lot of money into the squad going forward, and I'm hopeful that it's going to be worth it because we've got some very good players. But right now, West Brom are having a lot of the play. Cleverly, Harris scores. You'd have to say they've probably deserved that. We've not been great. Looking at the team, it's just players not turning up right now. Aarons has played pretty bad out on the left. Where else are we struggling? That's the question. Where else should changes be made? Do we have to load this highlight? Loading highlight. Dun dun dun. If this crashes on me, I will be mad. I don't go... Oh, there we go. Okay, that took a long time. Right, Ojo has not had the best game. Neither of either of our wide midfielders. Let's bring on Cameron Stewart out wide, and Samuel's had a pretty poor game. We're making the triple change in before we get an injury. We're mixing it up. We're bringing on Tariq. We are bringing on Cameron Stewart. We're bringing on Will Keane. We're bringing on the cavalry. Let's see if it can have an impact. There's still half an hour left to this game, so perhaps I made these changes a little prematurely. But we'll see how we get on as we are in possession of the ball here. Tariq gets fouled by Taron Fletcher, and he's shown a red card. Okay, now we really have to go for this game. Now we really have to go for it. I might make a tactical change. I've got an idea for a tactical change I've wanted to try out over the last few years, and I've never done it. So let's try it now. Why not? We have the players to do it. Basically, we change our wide midfielders to wingers and see how they get on. Going a little bit more attacking, throwing a few more men forward. Hopefully it can make an impact. There's 10 minutes left of this game. With them being down to 10 men, obviously we've got not got long to capitalise on that, and they're very much capable of shutting up shop. But I'd like to think we might be able to do something. Let's up the tempo. Let's play a little bit more direct. Let's see if we can get anything from this game. Keown, ball in. Oh, Foster with the save. But yeah, we're throwing a lot of men forward. You can see here the wingers sitting quite high up the pitch, but I kind of feel like that's necessary at this point. Sweeney with the tackle. Aarons. There's options. Keane's there. Iheanacho's in the centre if he wants him. Tariq. Thompson, Tariq. This is nice build-up play at least. Good passing play. But we now need to create something for it. We've got Tariq in the centre. His vision is incredible. I'm hoping he's going to be the guy to kind of pick out a pass. As Iheanacho scores on his debut. Take a bow, my son. A great little passing goal. Garcia as well, the young Honduras right back with the assist. That was a really nicely worked goal. Bit of build-up play. Initial ball doesn't come in, but Garcia whips it in. And Iheanacho, that's a great finish at the near post. That's not an easy finish, and he buries it. And now, can we really up the tempo for the last 5 minutes and potentially get the win here? Tariq, Thompson, Keown, there's a chance here. Aarons, Rolando Aarons scores, and the comeback is complete. Well played, son. Well played. Now we drop back to have them in more of a midfield. 3 minutes to hold out. 3 minutes. Oh gosh, there's a chance potentially. Which way is it going? It looks like it might be West Brom. It might be West Brom. They miss it. That was an easy chance for them, and that might be all she wrote. There's a minute left of this game, but what a comeback this would be. What a way to kind of kick off our championship campaign against what is, as you can probably tell by some of the players, a very strong West Brom side. Obviously, the fact they've had a man sent off hurts them greatly, but we've capitalised on that. We've shown real character to come back with 10 minutes left. And it looks like the tactical changes we made to the wingers might make all the difference. And I'm going to claim that I'm some kind of tactical wizard, because we needed to throw some men forward and it's worked for us. But good to see Nacho get a goal. Obviously on his debut, because he's a big transfer. Like, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him to get the goals. And that is an amazing win away from home against West Brom. Borthwick Jackson getting man of the match. The centre-back had a great game. Elsewhere, you know, good performances by Nacho getting the 8.3 rating in the end. Aaron's a player who I could have quite easily taken off because of his rating. When I started making the subs, I kept on, and he was certainly worth keeping on. He got the important goal for us. Our subs didn't have a massive impact, but that sending off really gave us an opportunity back into the game, and we capitalised on that. Great comeback. What a way to start the championship season, eh? I'm very happy with that. I am very, very happy. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button. Obviously, first game in the championship, one to remember, certainly. In terms of when I'll be back next episode, it's hard to tell because it is the start of the season, but hopefully I'll see you guys for that next video regardless. And that wraps things up from me, so thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you make of my transfers down in the comments, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. It is me, Jack, and I'm out.